Hey, it's Osman with House Einstein, and I'm here doing a client preview at 1140 Edinboro Drive. Let's go take a look. The street itself is relatively quiet, not a lot of traffic. Kids playing on the street, which is always a good sign. And there's your 360. Alright, let's walk in and see what we're looking at. It looks nicely landscaped with a sprinkler system on the front. An old-fashioned look with the railing around the front porch. It smells a little like new paint. Let's take a look inside. So as we thought from the photos that we looked at online, those are original windows, aluminum, which is a little easier to replace than the steel buck we see in some of these houses. Nicely staged. Living area, radiant heat. Walk through into the kitchen. This flooring is probably LVP. Yeah. Luxury vinyl plank, which is a pretty good option for a really inexpensive renovation or future rental house. That's the pantry that we talked about. Alright. Go back into the backyard at the end. Main bath. LVP. Towel work is okay. The standard layout for these 50s, 60s, and 70s era ranch homes. View out the window from the master. That'll give you a sense of the neighbors. So one of the big challenges in this era of home is closet size. It's from a time when people had a few outfits and not all the stuff that we tend to have today. So finding adequate storage is something that we look at solving. Okay, so that's the 3 bedrooms on the main. This is obviously the master. The 2 secondary bedrooms are pretty small. We've seen some people blow out this wall or open into this wall. We've also seen some people combine these 2 rooms into one giant master, but this particular wall could be opened and this entranceway, this doorway, turn into a solid wall, and that becomes what I've seen people do is put in French doors over here and turn that into an office space. But all pretty tidy, nicely staged, fairly basic. We'll do the walk around on the outside at the very end. Let's head into the basement. Okay, on down the steps, there's an exit and the landing out to the driveway, and then down the steps. Okay, this is living area, and you have a drop ceiling, which is pretty typical. Looks like one time they had a fireplace here, and it's been sealed off. These are probably the water shutoffs. Yep, there we go. Well, let's check out this room. Mechanical room. With a drain. Oh, I hear people upstairs coming through, so we'll keep walking and finish our tour. We're down here. Sounds like Brigitte.
Leave the lights on, okay?
No problem, Brigitte.
Thank you.
Okay. So this bedroom is actually the largest of any of the bedrooms in the house. I'll tell you one thing, these are definitely not egress windows, but that's not relatively expensive to remedy. About $3,000 a piece. The last time I got a quote, which was about a year ago. And that's soup to nuts, includes all of the permitting and the digging and concrete cutting. This house could be a little more. I don't know how they screen off the... I think we've already been here, but we'll just finish the walkthrough. Oh, that's right. This was the 1975 ice box, which was listed on the SPD. It's my age. Okay. Oh, and there's a little hidden storage under the stairs. Whoa! Okay. Yikes. He's scary. Okay, and then there's a little hidden storage area under the stairs with a little light. And they put in a little workshop, workbench with a safe built in. I'm 6'2" and I can't stand upright in this space, but somebody that's shorter could quite easily. So that's pretty cool. Okay, and that's the walkthrough of the basement. Let's take a look upstairs. Just the walkthrough of the inside, and then let's check out the backyard. I was just telling one of our tenants in one of the properties we manage that almost all of these old sliding doors, they don't seal very well, so the classic repairs, they just put a wooden dowel there. Okay, into the backyard. Well, the backyard's nicely landscaped as well. Do a slow pan. So when you're looking at the exterior of these houses, you often want to take a good close look at the brick because it can tell you if there are some settling issues. And this one looks pretty clean. I don't see any step cracks. Obviously this is not a property inspection, but this is such an obvious thing to look for that we can do a quick glance. Lots of space on this side of the house and not overgrown with landscaping, which is nice. You know, the slope, I don't want to put a level on this, but it feels like it might be slightly sloped this way. So if you were to put in an egress window, you may want to think about adjusting the grading here at the same time to make sure it's sloped away from the house. Positive slope is what you always want away from your foundation. But the brickwork doesn't suggest anything that I see going on. Yeah, actually it's one of the cleaner ones. The house I bought a year ago has quite a few hairline and step cracks going on, even though the foundation looks like it's in decent shape. This one is looking much better than that. I like the little garden area, and it's already irrigated, which is cool. Now the storage shed does not look quite as tidy. There's some clear signs of some deferred maintenance that could use a little attention. Generally, you never want your wood materials touching the landscaping on the bottom. There's the side of the shed. So one of the first questions you're going to want to ask is, there's the neighbor's house, just look at that too. One of the first questions you're going to want to ask is, how do we enclose that garage, or do we do something in the backyard with another structure? Enclosing the garage is probably a good option. Right now you're just looking at a storage shed. And I do have the key for that, so let me take a look inside. Okay, I got the lock off the storage shed. Here's what it looks like inside. It's kind of dark in here, so we're not going to get the best video, but it's just storage space. Pretty basic. There's some built-in closets that he had put in at some point, or she. Racks, gear racks. Actually pretty smart. I mean, most of the time these storage spaces are used as gear storage anyway. Garages are almost always filled with bicycles and camping gear and the usual Boulder assortment of outdoor adventure stuff. So this previous owner, or current owner, had all of this stuff built in, which would make for some pretty tidy storage. So I would call that a plus. Not sure how this side opens, but I'm kind of monkey with it. Little workbench area with power. That's also super handy. Along with a built-in vise, or a bolted-down vise. So it's pretty much what you need for gear storage. This side looks like you got the snowblower and a few more shelves. So for a carport, I would say this is pretty efficient and functional. And depending on current code and a whole bunch of other factors, my guess is you could probably retain it and enclose it. But we'll leave that for a builder or an architect that can walk you through the permitting process on that, because it's likely to have more requirements than you expect, and certainly I'm not speaking for the code. It's one of the reasons we always recommend visiting the building department. We didn't really talk about the roof, but it's always a good sign when you see gutters, especially not brand new gutters, but gutters that have been there for a while on the roof. I mean, looks okay. It doesn't have obvious signs of issues from the ground level. The top ridge looks straight and flat. Shingles don't look ancient. So we'll let the inspector look more closely on that. And that's the exterior walk.